Good morning, Joe here. It's Firearms Friday. We're in the classroom today at Larry's Pistol and Pawn, 2405 North Memorial Parkway. So today we're going to go back a couple of years to a video that we produced a couple of years ago, and we're going to re-talk about something called the 5.56 300 Blackout issue. Now, these cartridges are very similar. I'm going to go through some slides here with you real quick to try to explain what happens when you mix these cartridges up. So you cannot fire your 300 Blackout in your 223 or 5.56. Why? Well, let's talk about that. So some 300 Blackout cartridges will chamber in your 223 and 5.56 firearm. That's not what they're designed to do, but what happens when you chamber a 300 Blackout cartridge, which is larger, and it's fired, then your firearm is actually going to explode on you, and you do not want that to happen. So the next couple slides are going to show what happens when a 300 Blackout is forced into a 223 5.56, and this is definitely not what you want to do. These are will and will not are defined by the shape of the bullet. Generally, the heavier 300 Blackout, which is usually a 200 grain or better, bullets will not chamber in a 223 5.56. Smaller grain bullets will, in fact, sometimes chamber in your gun, depending on how your chamber is. So let's take a look at that a little bit more. So the 300 Blackout, sometimes called 7.62 by 35 if you're over in Europe, was developed by the Advanced Armament Corporation for use in the M4 carbine. And the whole idea is the M4 carbine, if you remember, is shorter than the M16 in terms of the barrel length. So this provides increased performance in the shorter barrels compared to the 5.56 round. The 300 Blackout uses standard 5.56 magazines and components with the exception of the barrel. Now I want to show you what I mean by that. Let's take a look here. I've got two identical magazines here. These are Wilson Combat magazines, and these are loaded up. But take a look here. This one is loaded up with 5.56. This one is loaded up with 300 Blackout. These things are interchangeable in terms of the magazines. You can load either cartridge in either magazine. The magazines are identical. The problem arises when you have both of these and you think you grab the 5.56, but you grab the 300 Blackout and you try to fire it, you're going to have a real problem. I'm going to show you what that looks like in just a minute. But that creates a real problem when you take a 200 plus grain 300 Blackout and try to stick it in the 5.56 hole. Now, in terms of math, for you, Coach Don, down in Daisy, Alabama, this is a 5.56 or a .223 cartridge. The original specification for the M16 gun required that to be a 22 caliber cartridge, which of course came out to be the .223. And of course in metrics, that's 5.56. This is actually a 30 caliber bullet, the 300 Blackout. So it's much, much larger than the .223/5.56 cartridge. But they fit the same. The base is the same. The magazines are interchangeable, they're completely the same, but the bullets and the guns are not interchangeable. So let's take a look and see what happens when you do this. So if you force your 300 Blackout into the bullet, into a 5.56, this is a 5.56, this is a 5.56. This is where the chamber line is. This bullet, which is 300, which is much larger, you see is only going to go this far, because that's the size of .223 5.56 right there. So this bullet's not going to chamber all the way in. So when you do that, you're going to have a problem with your gun. So let's look and see. Here, get another example here. This is the chamber line right here, and you're not going to be able to put this 300 Blackout in past this line right here. So when you load this up, you'll think you're loaded up because your bolt carrier group has gone forward, but not gone forward like it should have because the bullet simply cannot go into that hole, okay? So, let's take a look here. What we're gonna do is take a look and see what really happened in a situation. These were provided by our friends at Brownells where they actually had a situation where the gun blew up. So let's show what that's gonna look like. Now, this is the bolt carrier group viewed from the right side. You can see the forward assist grooves right here. This is the actual extractor right here and the actual bolt right here. And you can see the side of the bolt carrier group is blown out. Whenever that 300 Blackout was forced in there and was fired, that gas had to go somewhere and it couldn't go down range and go out the barrel, so it blew out this side of the bolt carrier group. There's supposed to be something right here that kind of matches this. It's gone. Let's look at another picture. Here's a little bit better view of it right here. You can see the gas piston rings right here on the end of the extractor. All this part of the extractor is gone. Okay, completely blown out. All right. Here's a forward view. You can see part of the extractor here is gone. And again, this part on the right side of the bolt carrier group is completely missing. And here's another view of it right here. Okay, and this is from the left side of the bolt carrier group. Again, blown out. So you're talking about a lot of pressure here in a very small space here in this case. Now, so while it looks like you could do this, this is the entire bolt carrier group right here with all the forward assist grooves. And you can see where it's blown out here. This is the gas return tube here. And the gas all caught up in here and boom, blew that out. So you do not want to do this. Now, as I said, the magazines are the same magazines. They're interchangeable. The bullets are not interchangeable. So what you really want to do, if you have 5.56 and 300 Blackout, be sure to keep those ammo separated and keep your magazines separated. And I highly recommend that you mark your magazines and keep them separated that way. You won't run into this kind of thing. Now, what happens sometimes if you get old handitis, we used to call it in the Air Force, where you handle something so much, you really just kind of forget about it and you think you're on autopilot, and then you're not following the checklist, you'll grab the wrong magazine, stick it in your gun, and this is what happens whenever you put the wrong magazine in your gun. It completely blows your gun apart. You can see this AR style firearm right here completely blew up. So you do not want that to happen. I'm glad I didn't have to hold on to this thing, because I'm sure the guy got injured some whenever this blew up on him. All right, so bottom line, come and shoot with us here at Larry's. We're open Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, 10 till 6. Ladies, shoot free on Wednesday. Military first responders, shoot free on Tuesday. Retired folks, shoot free on Thursday. And even if you have to pay, it's only $10. All right, come and shoot with us here at Larry's. All of us here at Larry's want you to stay armed and stay safe.